there, I'm Sarah from Creative Ramblings. Welcome to Hometalk. Let's get started. Today I am going to show you the unique and beautiful art of Shibori, which is a dyeing technique using indigo dye. Alright, so I've got this big table here covered in a tarp, and I have that big white blanket here, but I am going to show you the folding technique on something smaller because I think it's easier to see the detail on this really small piece here, and then you can take this same technique and use it on a larger blanket. So this is just one of the throw pillow covers I'm going to use. And you always want to start with an accordion fold. So what an accordion fold is we fold over once, and then underneath, and then back over. So it looks like an accordion. Now when you're doing that on the bigger blanket, it's gonna take a lot more. The next thing we wanna do is accordion fold in triangles. So I'm gonna start on this corner here, and I'm gonna go over, similar to folding like a flag. So I fold it over this way, then we come under like this, and back over this way. So we're just folding it in triangles, but again, keeping that front and back accordion fold. So we fold it under, and then over, under again, and kind of fold this last piece over. So what we're left with is a triangle. So we're gonna take our triangles and we need to hold this together a little bit. So I've got a few rubber bands over here, and I'm just going to attach the rubber bands kind of around the corners. We don't want them to be tight because I don't necessarily want lines from the rubber bands. A few are okay, but I really just want to hold this triangle together there. So I think we're held together on that one pretty well. And then on the blanket here, I'm going to use some of these larger rubber bands to just hold this piece together. So now that everything is held together, it is time for our dye bath. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that the pieces that you're using are 100% cotton and that they are pre-washed. The dye that I'm using is RIT dye. If you've ever tie-dyed before, you have probably worked with RIT dye. It's really easy to use. This is liquid, it just goes right in water. True indigo dye that's usually used for Shibori is a powder that can be kind of complicated to work with. So for your first time, RIT is a great choice. All right, so now to make our dye, I've got a big bucket right here, and I've already filled it up. I had to take it to a large sink. I've got about 3 gallons of water in here. Now, to make a really nice, rich indigo dye, I'm going to take this and add almost the full bottle in there. Then I'm gonna add some salt, and I'm just following the directions on the RIT dye package. I'm gonna add about a cup of salt. Then we're just gonna mix all this up, and we're gonna be ready to go. Before adding our items to the dye, we're gonna set this aside for just a moment. We are going to bring over just a bucket of warm, clean, clear water. And I'm gonna put on my rubber gloves. Nice tall ones are good to protect all of your hands. And we're going to take our triangles and just soak them in water. And we're gonna squeeze these out really good. So we want it wet, but not dripping. And then we'll just pop it in. I'll do the same for the blanket here. It's our 100% cotton, and they absorb water very well. All right, so I am just gonna leave these in here. I have found about 15 minutes is good using this dye, and every now and then I'm gonna come back and just make sure that they're pushed down and they're under the surface of the dye so that everything is getting dyed really well. So we'll come back in 15 minutes and we'll take these out. All right, it has been 15 minutes. Everything has been soaking in here really well. And so with each piece, I'm just gonna take it out and kind of squeeze the excess dye out. And then we're gonna move it back over to this water right here. And I've made sure that this is still warm water. And just squeeze out kind of as much dye as I can. All right, so I rinse these out under cold water, and you keep the rubber bands on while you're rinsing them out. So let's take a look at this one. And I'm gonna leave my gloves on because there may be still some dye on the inside there. So the rubber bands, again, are just for holding it together, but you can see that there's just a little bit of white, kind of white lines in here. So let's open this up. So every place that that fabric was folded is going to leave some white. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? So all of these triangle folds are left white, and every time you do this, it's going to be different. Now what I'm gonna go do is, now that it's unfolded, I'm gonna rinse it in cold water one more time, but let's take a look at this blanket and see what we've got going on here. This is such a big piece, so it takes longer to get all the dye out of this one. So we've got these beautiful white triangles on the inside, some really dark blue on the edges. So what I'm going to do is rinse this completely in cold water, and then I'm gonna run it through the washing machine. Wash it on cold, dry it on very low, because these are all 100% cotton, both this and the pillow covers. And then I am gonna go style this on a bedroom, on a bed in my house. I can't wait to show you this whole blanket because it's huge. So let's go wash it, and then we'll let it dry and take a look at the final product. So everything is done and we are ready to decorate. Now, these are the pillow covers that I did. I just put them over some white throw pillows that I have. And this is the blanket. I am gonna lay this out so you can see exactly how this looks. I washed these in cold water in my washing machine after I got all that dye out. And then because they're 100% cotton, I did put them in my dryer, but on very low heat for a short amount of time because I didn't want anything to shrink. This beautiful blanket and throw pillows add just a fun touch of color and whimsy to this otherwise white and kind of boring room. So I hope you learned something new today and that you're gonna go out and try Shibori dye on something that you own. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.